I've done all my work. Now I need to cut my losses and pull back. That's probably more of my pattern. And this past year, the courage has been keep going. You planted all these seeds. You have to see it through.
We say yes when we really need to say no, when we really want to say no. Like, because that's also fair too. Like, it's also okay to be like, I don't want to. Not just that I can't. You actually don't need an excuse to say no. You can just be like, no, I don't. That is not how I want to use my limited time, energy, and bandwidth.
For us to have good relationships with other people, I think it's directly correlated to how we can care for ourselves. The extent that I can have grace and care for myself is the extent that I can have grace and care for other people.
Yep.
And that was a very hard lesson to learn.
Welcome to Courage is Built Here, the podcast. I'm Justine Froelker, licensed professional counselor, author, speaker, and corporate trainer. Here, we bring my Courage is Built Here curriculum to life and community. Each week, I invite a guest to walk one of the 5 courageous pathways with me through authentic, sometimes tough, sometimes hilarious conversations. No performance, no polish, just real people practicing real courage with grit, grace, and a whole lot of love. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Courage is Built Here podcast. Today, we have Pathway 4, Love Others Well, how to live with, relate to, and lead others well. So this pathway is a big pathway. I just thought of this morning before I hopped on this conversation to record with my friend Ashley. It's one of the most popular pathways that people choose, mostly because I think the work is so transformative when you really do these skill sets of shame resilience and empathy and operationalizing trust and curious language and having the hard conversation in a kind, curious, clear way. Like it can change your entire life and your relationships, boundaries, work, all of it. And so like a lot of people choose this pathway to talk about. And at the same time, I was like, it's interesting that is the like easiest pathway to fill for this podcast. While at the same time, if you were to like look at so many things that are happening right now, like we are not loving people well at all. And we'll talk about that a little bit in today's episodes. This is such a good conversation. We go lots of places, from how vulnerable it is to ask for help, how hard it is to stop saying yes when you really need to say no and not live with resentment. We talk about grief. Like it's a really rich episode. I met Ashley at a retreat that I went to kind of like spur of the moment, like a year and a half ago. And we met and just really clicked. She is also a facilitator speaker in the leadership space. And so, and she's in Louisiana, and we just have stayed in touch and cheer each other on and talk about the difficulties of being an entrepreneur and things like that. And so like she just has, I love her perspective in this episode, and I think you'll really find it just impactful. It just is really good. I'm super proud of this episode. So let's welcome Ashley to the podcast. Welcome, Ashley, to the Courage is Built Here podcast. Thank you.
I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
I'm so excited. All right, we're going to start you off with the first question that everybody gets. When you think about courage, most especially through what I call Pathway 4, Love Others Well, is there a story or a moment that comes up for you?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, like to get ready for today, like even to figure out like what courage means to me. And I've been thinking that sort of it's like that willingness to maybe take a chance with someone when you don't know exactly how they'll respond.
Oof.
So like for me, I've been thinking about in the past year all the times that like I have asked people for something which is not my um native or instinctual way to show up with people.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that like the right now in my life, courage is most present, like asking people for help, asking people, even sometimes being really vulnerable. Like I think sometimes I just want someone to experience something with me.
Yeah.
Like, either to, like, be in it with me or to let me say something out loud that sort of I'm not processing that entire experience on my own. And
Right.
so really asking and, like, inviting people into that has been scary. And I should also say it's not like every time I ask that, like, I get what I assume. I think
Yes.
that's the courage too, is that, like, you're
Yeah.
still sort of putting yourself out there and asking,
Yeah.
not quite sure how people will receive you or even perceive what you're asking for.
Yeah. That's so true. There asking for help is so vulnerable, which means it's great. I mean, that is courage. Like I did it was a couple months ago, like as we're building the retreat space, right? Like I was like, I did a video and I was like, I have asking for help fatigue. Like I have never asked for so much help and it feels so vulnerable. And there's also a part that kind of came up for me too is like, because like you said, just because you ask for it doesn't mean you're going to get what you want, need, or expect, right? Like,
Yeah.
and what I found is like, and having to ask for so much help in building Monarch Meadows, like, I was faced with wrestling with like, who shows up? And you're kind of surprised. You're surprised. Like, it's really honestly the people you didn't expect. And I also had this wrestling of like, but it was, I handled it with, I extend that generosity and grace because like people are so busy. Like our lives are no longer set up to literally show up on a Saturday and help one of your closest friends build her dream. Like they just simply can't say yes.
Yeah, that's so complex because it's like,
Right?
yes, and
Huh?
that this particular season in life for me, I don't have my ring on right now, but I have a snail ring. And in one of Adrienne Marie Brown's books, she talks about like small is all and things being fractal. And that's sort of like what you do at the smallest level builds on and then it builds on and it builds on. And so I have
Yeah.
this snail shell ring where you can kind of see it keeps
Right.
widening out. Yeah. Because for me, I think that sort of we're living in a time right now where everywhere there's like so much noise about
Yes. Everything.
what you're allowed to sort like how you can even be human. Like what does that look like?
Oof. Yeah.
And I think that we measure it in like the base things, like the I can't think of like anything else to say but right now, and I hope this isn't like pushing it too much, but it's like, who did you vote for? Where have you donated money? What nonprofits do you volunteer for? These sort of like the things that take the biggest effort
Mhm.
instead of like, what is it day to day? Like when you wake up in the morning, how do you talk to your spouse? When you know that you have a friend who's going through a really hard time and you're busy at work, are you able to still carve out time for that person? Like when your kids ask what's for dinner for the 10th time and you're like, like
Yeah.
just the sort of the it's those small things over and over, I think, that make up how we care about other people.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a we've because of all the noise, we've we focus on these things that they're big. It's a big deal. They
Yes,
are.
yes, not to
They are,
minimize it.
right? And they're actually very tiny parts of who people are.
We spend
When
so much of our day in the mundane, the
right,
day to day.
right,
Yes.
like those tiny moments, like it is like one of the things, like even when you say like when you're crazy at work and you have a person, someone in struggling, like for me, like and you might be able to identify with this, like summer can be a little bit hard for me because well, most of my friends are moms and they are very busy in the summer, like their kids are home, like and so I mean, throughout the years, it's morphed and healed in lots of different ways. But like, I just know they're not gonna check in as much. I just know that they're not available. I know that I'll have some loneliness creep up. And at the same time, like my life is very full too, and it literally takes 2 seconds to send a text message to somebody and be like, "Hey, you just popped in my head. I love you." That's it. I like so like especially my mom friends who like they still show up. I know like they are overwhelmed. I mean, entrepreneurs, 4 kids still at home, like, and they still like, what's going on? Like that. I just like, are you okay? Like, I don't know. It's those small moments that like you said, it builds on
Because
And that's
that's
what
how
it's
I think you
about.
stay it is, and that's how you stay, like, in relationship with people, like, those
Yeah.
small things. The reaching out when you think of someone is something that I love. I have a friend, Summer, that moved away several years ago, and she's so good for that. It really could be a couple of years, like, just like life happened, and she's like, "Hey, you were on my mind today." And then we'll have this beautiful text thread,
Right.
of all of these things, and then life happens again, and we've learned that's sort of the
Yeah.
rhythm of our relationship. But,
Yeah.
like, one of my closest friends as an entrepreneur, a mom of 2 young kids, 2 under 4.
Oof.
Our husband's in a PhD program. All the life is lifing. 2 weeks ago, we did a sleepover on Thursday night with her and her daughter. Her daughter's been wanting to do, like, girls' night sleepovers, and she thought through, "Well, my daughter wakes up at 6 AM every day. Let's do it on a weeknight, because then now if we're all waking up at 6 AM, it's because we're, like, we have to go to work and do the
Right.
thing after." But, like,
Absolutely.
that's just like, we figured out how it
Yeah.
could work for us, and,
Yeah.
like, that was some of the most face-to-face time we've had in so long because,
Uh-huh.
her daughter went to sleep early, she was asleep by 8, so then we had, like, the rest of the night to catch
To
up, and
yeah.
that's not something I ever did as a kid, but I think the idea of, like, it's a new different thing that's available to us,
Uh-huh.
and that's how we love each other, like, that's how we're able
Yeah.
to sort of be in each other's
Yeah.
lives still, even when
Right.
there's so much happening in this season, because
Right.
I I'm a little bit off track, but something that I've learned too is that sometimes when I think a season is just seasonal and, like, I'll drop something, it's not, and then I never get to pick that back up. So it's like, well, how do I make this work in this season too?
Right. Right. 'Cause I it there's seasons. There's seasons. There's gonna be seasons that one part of your life needs a ton more attention and bandwidth, or there's gonna be seasons too where, like, you're leaning into one of your values over one of the others, right?
Mhm.
Like, because it's just that season part, and so it is, like, I like how you're talking about, like, because loving others well, leading others well requires care, and care has been coming up a lot lately in my events or even just, like, some of the networking events I'm attending. I think it's because for me, I believe it's because everything has become so transactional, and so, like, this intentional care, like, this, like, "Oh, just thought of you checking in," like, that intentional care because it's that maintenance, those small moments that build on top of each other that then help us when, like, I need to reach out for help and say, I need like, it's a day, and
Yeah.
I need someone to, like, reflect my values back to me or reflect my truth back to like, I need someone to freaking cheer me on today, like, I it's that maintenance of care, whether or not it's at home or work, or you're the leader or you're not the leader, or you're the parent or not the parent, like, that's what helps us build the muscle to continue to ask for help and support one another and lean into the vulnerability and choose the courage.
Yes. And something that, like, this is fully formed. I don't know if I 100% believe this, but something I've been playing with lately is
Yeah.
that this idea of, like, care and for us to have good relationships with other people, I think it's directly correlated to how we can care for ourselves. Like the ability that we can sort of and this is from personal experience. I've gone through a lot of changes in the past year and a half. And I am what's the people always say, and I like the way it is, it's a funny joke. Recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering
Yeah.
perfectionist. And what I've learned though is that the extent that I can have grace and care for myself is the extent that I can have grace and care for other people.
Yep.
And that was a very hard lesson to learn because I know that maybe the voice in my head and the way I talk to myself is not the best and it's something I need to work on.
Yeah.
Maybe understanding that, like, that is also correlated with my ability to, like, care for other people and have grace for their mistakes
Uh-huh.
was a,
Mhm.
a tough lesson because it's like, okay, well, this isn't just about me anymore. It's about other people. And to your point, well, I don't want this to be transactional. I'm not healing for other people. It's like, okay, then how is it reciprocal? How do I
Ooh,
take care of
that's so good.
myself to take care of other people so that we're sort of like in this, I don't even know the way to say the relationship, but like in a way that sort of it's not static. It's like this dynamic relationship that we need to make space for, and I think we're all starving for.
Yeah, absolutely starving for. And there's a I just said this in my entrepreneur group yesterday. I see it's because especially when I was in private practice as a therapist, I would see it in friendships, but also our partnerships, right? Marriages and partnerships. Like we all relationships are give and take. And just like you're going to be in seasons of like maybe your one section of your life is requiring more, like maybe you're leaning into one value over the other. Like there's also going to be seasons in our relationships where you're giving way more than you're receiving. Like, and where we get into trouble is the transactional piece of it, where we start keeping the scorecard. Like, of course, like we want to be cognizant of like, I mean, if you are giving and giving and giving, like we probably need to bring in someone to help, right? Like that's not a healthy
Yeah.
relationship. However, like keeping track of it on a scorecard, there's this weird balance between it, right? But because you can't give what you don't have. So I have to fill myself up first in order to love you well. And at the same time, I can't keep score of all of this between us because that comes back to the transactional piece.
So confession, like having been that person, that sort of the like um I'm just gonna be real vulnerable today. Like I equating my value in how I help. Like I think that like
Mm.
historically that has been my approach. Last last April, my mother passed, and she has 6 kids. I'm the oldest of 6. And in reality, I'm only able to say this now, a year and a half sort of later, and in hindsight, that I thought I was just handling everything so well. Because I mean, like immediately, like the day I found out, I went to my godmother. We're very close. She like let me fall apart, put me back together, and then like was like, "Here are the things you have to do, like the technical things. Here are the things
Yeah.
you have to do."
Yeah.
And it's like once I stopped crying and she gave me that technical list, I was like, "Okay, I have my orders. I know what to do, and I'm gonna do it well." And in so many ways, like that sort of like duty list got me on track. I was able to make sure that all 5 of my siblings were okay. We figured out amongst the 5 of us how to finance it. No one wanted to say the eulogy, so I agreed to do it. And then made sure that I wrote something specific to each of my 5 siblings and like how I saw my mom in them or something she would be proud of them. And so
Yeah.
while all of this is happening, I'm thinking like, damn, like I am mastering grief. Like I just feel like I've got this.
Yeah.
And it was really at the beginning, the end of last year, beginning of this year, when I started to realize like I have just been doing
Correct.
and like nonstop. At no point have I like even turned inward to process like my own thing at all. And I had actually gotten, I don't know if any of my siblings will ever see this, but like there was an instance where I was feeling pretty abandoned, that sort of
Yeah.
they weren't showing up for me. See, even now I'm having to catch myself. I want to say they weren't showing up for me the way that they could have, but they weren't showing up for me the way I would have for them.
Yeah.
And so then that was the point where it sort of it went from like I've got all of this, I'm handling it, I'm like being such a good sister to well now I'm angry at all of them, like what is happening?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like really stepping back and realizing, okay, well, this 35 years of patterns I'm unwrapping, they've also been on the other end of those patterns. Like our relationship as siblings is
Yep.
Ashley shows up.
Yep.
Ashley wipes my tears.
Yep.
Ashley will buy things if we need. Ashley will figure it out. I had to sort of like look at that and understand, well, what's my pattern? I'm giving because I think that's my value. Well, no, I'm mad that you're not giving back to me in that same way.
Yeah. Woof. Eldest daughter problems.
Look,
Whoa.
yeah. You know, and actually, so my friend was telling you about earlier, the eldest daughter, my partner's an eldest. Like, I just everyone around me,
Yep.
I feel like I'm collecting eldest daughter for.
Right. It is because there's so much that can be wrapped up. I mean, like in all of that. So I can imagine there's the perfectionism piece. There's I mean, for me, there's martyrdom, right?
Yeah,
For me, there's control. For me, there's that performance, hustling, striving. Like, so, like, I no, really, I am okay. Like, I really, I can do that, or I am really good, or I am the best, or like, I'm gonna make you see it, and like, but then we twist all of that because it's so much of our identity into this space of like, because I give it, I have to get it back from you. When in reality, I'm not giving it from a place of actual worth and love and my values. I'm giving it from scarcity and fear and shame
an obligation.
and obligation, which is not, it's not love. like, yes, of course, we will all have to do things that are not necessarily fun for the people that we love. When it's different though when it's from a place of obligation versus this place of I show up because I love you.
And I think too that like even if we don't, I I've always sort of prized myself on I'm not like a big external complainer. So like let's say let's use your new retreat space.
Yeah.
Let's say I would have had a bunch going on. You would have invited us over to come on Saturday and help. I'll show up. I'll be chipper. I'll be excited. But if I said yes when I really know I should have said no, what's going to happen is I'm going to leave and I'm gonna get in the car and I'm just going to be like, ugh. And I'm going to think of all the things that went wrong, all the things
Yep.
that I didn't like, which I am learning, like from me, how unfair that would be to Justine.
Yeah.
Like, you are asking
So good.
with the assumption that I'm responsible for my own boundaries and to say
Right.
yes or no. You're asking that
Yep.
if I'm to say yes,
Yep.
I'm saying it with joy to be there.
Yep.
And if I can't, hey, I still care about you, but I can't be there.
Yeah.
Maybe I can pitch in on my own on another day. If you have enough,
Exactly.
like, there's other ways to sort of talk through it
Exactly.
if I'm being really honest, like I think for a long time, I'd be like, yes, I can be there, even though I'm drowning in deadlines. You will think I just did this amazing thing and like I'm a great friend. And the second I get in the car, I'm like frustrated and complaining.
Yep.
And it's like, well,
And
who
you're
did that serve?
resentful.
Um,
You're resentful, and unfortunately, how our brain works because it's so wired for safety, it actually doesn't get to the place of like, who am I resentful at myself because I said yes when I really needed to say no. No, I'm resentful at the other person.
because I need to externalize it. I can't be the problem.
Right.
It can't
Right.
ever be me.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. Yesterday, I had my entrepreneur group, and I looked at one of them. And I said, "I go, no one makes us do anything. Like there's not like I and there like." And then our coach said a famous story about like when like in a prison system when someone is forced to go to the counselor, like, well, I have to be there or be here. And it's like, no, you don't. Yes, I do. Otherwise, I'd be in solitary confinement. That's a choice. They're crappy choices. Still a choice, like, right? Like, because like, how often do we give beyond what we have to give? We say yes when we really need to say no, when we really want to say no. Like, because that's also fair too. Like, it's also okay to be like, I don't want to. Not just that
Yeah,
I
that's
can't.
not
You
my shit.
actually
Right.
don't need an excuse to say no. You can just be like, no, I don't. That is not how I want to use my limited time, energy, and bandwidth.
Yep. I think too that sort of that like that limited time, energy, and bandwidth is something that I've been playing with a lot about like just really like being accountable to myself over where am I spending that time and energy when I
Yep.
have like full authority over it,
Yep.
which I do think that we all have more authority over our own time. Maybe than we realize, and I think that's structural. That maybe like
Right. Sure.
we're like almost like this like disempowerment. We're taught to believe that sort of like that's what I have to do, less of like this is what I'm
For sure.
capable of doing. But just really understanding that sort of the time and energy that I have, I don't get back. And so where do I want to be spending that?
Yeah.
And looking at a lot of like relationships with people that weren't maybe no matter what Saturday they would have invited me to work on their retreat center, I would have wanted to say no.
Yeah.
And that like there's something there's some data in there, there's some clarification that needs to happen. That if like I'm always feeling like I don't want to say yes, but I keep doing it. Like, is this where my time and energy needs to
Mhm.
be?
Yep.
And I don't know if this is maybe everyone's sort of upbringing, but I sort of have this belief that I can't in I have to stay in relationship with you unless there's some sort of rupture. Like if I'm
Mm.
not in relationship with you anymore, it's because like one of us has done something wrong
Yeah.
or like there almost needs
Mm.
to be someone to blame instead of like maybe this is just not a good fit. And
Yeah.
there are no hard feelings. There's nothing that sort of
Right.
I don't have to keep showing up in this relationship if I don't want to. I'm the other half of the relationship. Maybe I do have some choice in this.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. That is such a I wanna flesh that out, like, more and, like, what does that look like? Because I actually just thought of that on my morning walk the other day, like, I don't know what brought it up, like, I feel like a lot of women have I think I think probably most women have, like, those friendships that they ended, like, and it something did happen. You can probably point to something, and yet, like, I think for a lot of us you never get any closure on it. Like, you don't get to really understand I can point to what happened. I don't really understand what really happened. And it just like they kind of disappear. I was like, even thinking, I was like, does Chad have those? I'm like, no, dudes just like literally don't even think about it. But here I am 20 years later thinking about that college girlfriend that I don't really even know what happened. And she was my roommate and I loved her so much. I mean, I know what happened. Like, her dad died during my wedding. Like, her dad passed the day of my wedding, and I don't, maybe I didn't show up. I don't know. Something happened in after the aftermath, but I never got to understand why. Like,
It's so fascinating that you say that. I I'm the first friend in my friend group to sort of lose a
a
parent,
parent.
and I've been people that sort of like I'm friendly with acquaintances
Yeah.
over the years have reached out, and I've had some really cool like breakfast and lunch dates, which has been helpful.
Yeah.
And something happens to us when we lose a parent.
Sure.
I my best friend in college, I lost her after her dad died, sort of after that happened. And I'm sure that like there's a story that she has that I
Yep.
wasn't doing something. From
Yes.
my
Right.
perspective, it was sort of like, well, this happened and you shut down. Right. Well, so
Yep.
15 years later, I lose my
Yeah.
mom. I have a friendship that I've lost since last year. And I'm telling you, so I have to be really mindful sometimes not to go down this rabbit hole of like, recovering perfectionist. What did I
Yeah.
do? Like, what did I do? Did I not try hard enough? Did I
Yeah.
like not show up in all these ways? And then when I'm honest with myself, and I was like, well, for that first year, I was just running to like take care
Yeah.
of all these other
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Like, I really needed a friend
Yeah.
that wasn't there. And it's sort of like there are so many questions I have,
Yeah.
and if like I right now still feel very raw that I don't want to ask. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, where were you
Absolutely.
for the past year?"
Right.
Because I don't know that, like, I am so raw. I don't know how I might respond to the
Yeah.
response to that question. Hey, where have you been?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's so like,
Friendships, if we don't ever get any sort of like, I mean, just think about all the books and trainings and classes on like relationships with either romantic or with your coworkers. Like, everything's about like, how do you work on those
yeah.
relationships? But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, what about friendship?
You're totally right. You're totally right. It is like I really that's gonna stick with me, Ashley. This like relationships don't necessarily always have like a rupture. They don't have to. Like, I mean, and how long have we like, oh, people are in your life for reasons or seasons, and like there's actually very few people that are probably in your life for the long haul. Like, and that's just how we are as humans, and because we grow at different rates and stuff like that. And there may not be this gigantic rupture. And even if there is an event that we can point to, we may never ever have full understanding of what actually went down.
No, and I think too that sometimes the more distance that happens from it, our version of the story calcifies. So then
Mm,
so does the other person. So then it's sort of like, how do you come
yeah.
back and
How do you
sort of
overcome
like
that?
recover?
Yeah.
Right. Which I guess like as I'm saying that, I think something occurring to me is thinking about some of the friendships right now that I do deeply value is sort of like, what does it look like when you start to feel like maybe that's happening? And even just to ask the question,
Right.
like, what's happening under the surface? Because if not, does it get to that point of no return?
Correct. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Dang, this is really good. Okay. My community's gonna love this. I love you. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful for you.
I've been looking forward to this.
So
I was
good.
actually getting ready, and I have I don't remember the name of it. I have one of your children's books,
Yeah.
and I was showing it to my friend whenever her
Yeah.
daughter came over, telling her that I was meeting with you today.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, it's already that time. Last two questions. So
You
the
were
one
right.
I know, it goes fast. So the one that's coming. When has courage looked different than you expected? And what did it teach you?
Courage this past year has really been to keep showing up. I think that prior, I mean, would have imagined courage as like knowing when to fold, like knowing when like I've done all my work. Now I need to cut my losses and pull back. That's probably more of my pattern. And this
Yeah.
past year, the courage has been keep going. you sort of planted all these seeds, you have to see it through.
Yeah.
And that sort of belief that the work I'm doing is the right work. There is no way to know what comes out on the other end of it, but it's sort of like I have to keep showing up in that way.
Yeah. It is like, and what we do working with leaders and just like an organization, like, and I had this when I was in private practice as a therapist. It just, this feels harder to hold sometimes. Like it's truly trusting the seeds that you plant and actually, and figuring out how to live with the fact that sometimes you may never ever get to see the fruit of it. Like it will not be in your circle. It will not be, and it's still trusting that. I actually just had a contract in with a client really unexpectedly. And I looked at them and I was like, one of my principles in life is to leave things better than I found them. And I know that there are days here where that may not feel like that is true. And I know it is. Like we have done good work here and I'm proud of us and I'm proud of you, especially those of you who are choosing it in what feels like an impossible system. Like I if I don't trust those seeds that I plant, I would be more insane than I already am, and I definitely would not keep going. Like,
Well, and because with the work that we do, there's so much that like there's so much we have to let go of. Like there's so much
yeah,
that we barely influence, we have no control over. And I
true.
think that like it for me, what that comes down to is that like is the integrity in the work of how I planted a seed. Like if I know
I
that
like
sort of
that.
like I'm doing that consistently, fractally, I keep sort of building on it. Maybe not all of the seeds will come up, but I know that like I have sort of like done
Yeah.
not the right work because I don't like the connotation of like the right, but I've
Yeah.
done it well. I've done it
Yep.
well and I've done it with integrity.
Yep. So good. So good. All right, your surprise question. Ready?
All right.
When was the last time you felt seen or known by someone?
Oh wow. That's when's the last time I have felt seen or known by someone? I am 2 weeks ago, I did a workshop with um a dream client, an organization I've really wanted to get in
Love
for
it.
a while, and I was able to do a full staff training. And my friend checked in on me several times throughout the day and then asked for a picture. And so someone from the audience took one. You know, I was talking, I never
Yeah.
get about taking pictures.
Right.
Someone from the audience took one. I sent it to her and I am still struggling a bit with like being behind the camera or in front of the camera. It's in
Yeah.
front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I sent her the picture and her feedback had nothing to do with my like physical appearance.
Yeah.
It was like, I can see that you were in your flow. And she was like, that's the shirt that I feel like matches your personality. So like everyone gets it's like
Oh
all
my
of
God.
the
Yeah.
feedback that she gave me was like she was seeing me.
Yeah.
Like not this, like she was seeing
Yeah.
me. And it was like a
Good.
picture that I didn't feel was particularly
Yeah.
like physically flattering.
Yeah.
Right. And it
Those are
was
hard
like
to catch of us speakers.
right, yeah, and I have, I mean, you can even see now. Like I have so many that are like,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes I look angry
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, yes. So like it's a thing we go through. But it was her feedback. Even the way that she said it were words that I wouldn't have like thought to say about myself. It is like she is seeing me and like she's seeing the way that this day felt for me.
Yeah.
This is it helped me almost like build this like stable memory of this is how I felt that day.
Yeah.
This is what I want to keep feeling like at the end of a full day of work. Like
Yeah.
because she saw me and it's almost like a mirror. She like said it
Yeah.
back to me. It felt so good. Also to be reminded that like it's who I am serving that room, not what I look like in front of a picture. That's not why people hire
Yep.
me.
Yep. That's so good. Because I also want, like, so she saw it in a picture. I want to reflect back to you that imagine what the people in the room felt like.
Mm. Thank you for that because someone actually on the way out, I was loading up my car and she didn't speak much. She stopped me and she said, I really want to thank you for today. I didn't fall asleep once. And she's like, it sounds funny. She was like, but I hate these sort of like
Yeah.
mandatory all day. Like she's not someone I
Yeah.
work with, but she's,
Yeah.
someone's boss told her to be there. And I
Yep.
was like, that that is a good compliment because I know
It
what
is.
it's like to be in this room and
Yep.
feel like someone's lecturing at you. Like it is important to me. Like if whoever's in front of me, I'm seeing you. Like everything
Yep.
else fades away. Like I just want to see you and like how do I serve you?
Yep. Exactly. Oh, so good. This has
Ooh,
been a joy. Thank you.
I know. I love
Thank you.
all
Thank
my
you.
time with you is always so much fun.
I love it so much. All right. So where can my community connect with you? Where's the best go?
I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, Ashley Mudd, and I'm the founder of Acadiana Thrives. I'll spell that for folks that are not familiar with Louisiana. Acadiana. It's the name of our region in southern Louisiana. And so the goal is to build a workforce where everyone can truly own their own leadership and help our community thrive.
So good. So good. We'll link it all in the show notes. Thank you for this time, my friend. I love you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Love
you. Thank
you.
you. Thank you for listening to the Courage is Built Here podcast. Whether you're brand new to this work or living it out loud every day, I hope today was helpful, hopeful, and a reminder that you're not alone. What one bit of courage will you take from this episode, and how will you walk it out? If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave us a review, and please make sure you like and subscribe. New episodes come out every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform and Fridays on YouTube. For more resources, head to JustineFroelker.com and click to my store. Because courage isn't a one-time thing, it's built right here, one small choice at a time, and especially between us.